My name is Larry Larkin. I am the lead analyst and business officer for DLA Land and Maritime Pearl Harbor. Over the last 6 years, I've lost 4 siblings. Back in 2010, I get a phone call, and it's in the middle of the night, and the phone call is saying, "Hey, you need to call home." And they said, "Your sister just passed away." And so I'm thinking, I know that one of my sisters, and I have 5 of them, has breast cancer, and she's going through that struggle of chemotherapy and 4 different surgeries. So I'm thinking, oh my God, it's her, it's my sister Sharon. But I call home, and it's my younger sister. Her name is, we call her Mimi. And they said she just had a heart attack. She was fine. And I had spoke to her probably the week prior. And so, I head off home from Japan, where I was posted, and support my family, my mother, and everyone through that. And so as I'm, preparing to head back to Japan, and I'm, transiting through the airport, and I look down and I see this book, and it's got the words hope written on it. So I just pick it up thinking it's just a good book to read on the airplane ride back to Japan, 12 hours. So I started reading it, and it provided me a sense of spiritual direction. And I think to have resiliency, it really starts before the tragedy happens. And I like to say, for me, it's really mind, body, and soul, and I'll touch on all of those. So I head back to Japan and go through a period of grieving and still trying to make sure that, I'm supporting my family even in Japan, and they're back in Detroit, Michigan. In June of 2011, I get another phone call. It's one of those calls in the middle of the night, and it's a nurse, and she says, "Mr. Larkin, you need to come home." Right then I knew it wasn't good news. You need to be home. Your sister's dying. And I said, "Okay, how much time do I have?" And they're like, "Well, we really don't know. You could be 24 hours, it could be 6 hours, but you need to come home as soon as possible." So, I prepared myself to travel back home to Detroit from Japan again, and I never made it in time. And by the time I get ready and get the flight set, I get the text, and it said, "Oh, your sister just died moments ago." And so that was June of 2011, and I go through this period of grief again, and resiliency for me, like I said, mind, body, and soul. And the mind, I think you really have to, when you're not going through a period of difficulty or grief, you really should read, try to have a positive outlook and a strong mind, and also in a spiritual sense, that book of hope. And that time when my younger sister died until Sharon passed away provided me a spiritual guidance, of knowing that there is a higher power. And also the body. I think you have to take care of yourself. You have to, for me, it's running. I love running. I do marathons and half marathons, 5Ks and 10Ks. So, you have to do something to take your mind off of that grief. And I think that, to the degree that you can do that, you'll bounce back a lot quicker. Fast forward a little bit till November 2015. I had went to Japan. It was my 50th birthday, on November 6th, and I came back here to Hawaii on November 9th. I get a text from my brother. He says, "Hey, welcome home, welcome back to the United States." And so that was on a Sunday, and I head off to work on a Monday and a Tuesday, and on Wednesday, I get home, and I'm at home and doing things, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of text messages that pop up on my phone, and I just pick up my phone because I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird. Maybe 5 messages all coming in at the same time. And so I just pick up my phone, and it says, "Your brother just passed away." I was like, wow, I just was texting with him on Sunday. He's welcoming me back to the United States from my trip to Japan, vacation. And so I immediately call home, find out what happened. He had a heart attack. And so I had to prepare myself to head back to Japan. I'm really physically tired, still kind of jet lagged. And I can just remember, that evening, getting ready to leave, getting the flight reservations, packing up, and getting ready to head back on the road, and going to sleep on the couch and closing my eyes and waking up thinking, I hope this is a nightmare, but opening my eyes and seeing luggage there and that I had prepared the night before, and knowing that I had to go. So this is real. I have to go home and support my family as best as I could. And so I head back, support my mom through all of this and my remaining siblings, and spend a couple of weeks with them after the funeral and everything, and come back here right around December 3rd of 2015, and using those tenets again, mind, body, and soul, something to take my mind off of that grief. Running when I can. Going to church, reading, I'm a Christian, reading the Bible, and just really staying as positive as I could. And also, that was right during the Christmas season, right after Thanksgiving, and also getting involved doing some volunteer work. I think when you're going through something and you really feel sad, another way to kind of pick yourself up is to help someone else. So Sunday morning, I wake up early. It's probably 5:30 in the morning on January 15th, and I see a text on my phone right away. It comes in at 5:37, I think the time was. I wake up at 5:30, getting ready to go out on a run. I get this text 7 minutes later. It says, "Call home. Your sister just had a stroke." And so, I call home and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" They said, "Well, your sister, Faye is her name. Looks like we think she's had a stroke. She just woke up and she was supposed to go shopping with grandma, grocery shopping to do Sunday dinner, to cook Sunday dinner. And she went into the restroom and came out and said, 'Hey, I need to go to the hospital. I'm not feeling well.'" So they called 911. And by the time that the EMS had got there, she slumps down in her seat and goes into this coma. For a while, it seemed like she may have been getting better. But then I think it was on a Monday, January 25th, and said, "Hey, you need to come home because your mom is now hospitalized. She has high blood pressure. She's not doing well." And so then I knew I had to get home back to Detroit. My mom and my sister are in the same hospital. My mom's on the 3rd floor, my sister's on the 4th floor, and trying to support my mom and my mother and check on my sister. And they moved her into a hospice ward, and so this is going on for about 3 or 4 days, and then on the 28th of January, my sister passed away. And so, within a span of, from 2010 to 2016, I lost 4 siblings. And, as difficult as that was and is, I really believe in resiliency. For me, it's mind, body, and soul. Taking care of the mind before something like this happens, reading as much as possible. One of my favorite readings is a book by Viktor Frankl. He was in the Nazi internment camp, and he had a saying that says, "He who has a will can endure almost anything." And he had lost everything. He was a prominent doctor, and during that time, he lost his family, his practice, and he was in this internment camp for a period of years, and he was one of the few that survived. So I use that as one of the models. If you have a will, you can endure almost anything. And also spiritual, being as spiritual as you can, reading your Bible. I won't tell anybody which religion to choose, but I think that it's important to have some kind of spiritual compass, and knowing that there's a higher power than yourself. And also, like I said, taking care of your body, eating right, getting some form of exercise in. I love to run, and one of the things that I've done since my sister Sharon passed away is participate in the Run for the Cure every single year. I wear this pink wristband, whether it's the Run for the Cure organization in Japan or here in Hawaii. I make that a personal commitment to do that every year. And I just hope that someone can use things that I've used in the past to help them bounce back in the future.